Alright, we are live. Welcome everybody who's watching to Imaginary Roleplay here on twitch.tv. We are starting a new campaign tonight in the Iron Kingdoms RPG system. It's called Frozen Spurs. So, we have our handsome GM, Ryan, who's going to be running this game.
Thank you.
Ryan, why don't you describe what Iron Kingdoms is and also the setting and story we're going to be playing.
All right. So basically, the players here are all going to be Kadoran bounty hunters on the northern frontier. Recently, they have had lots of issues with direwolves hunting and killing a lot of loggers and the other hunters. It's bad enough that the local prince has actually opened up a open bounty on many things. So there are lots of mercenary companies that have, well, smaller mercenary companies, I should say, that have moved up north and set up shop within the city of Tverkutsk. And it is from this city that these players shall operate in. It is also worth mentioning that the city has benefited from a recent mining boom, as trace materials that they need to make the cortexes, which are basically the robot brains for the machines of war that all of the kingdoms use. Many of those trace materials have been found nearby, so recent mining operations have also become underway. It's a big time, and there's lots going on, and these intrepid businessmen are hoping to make their fortunes up here in the often frozen wastelands.
Okay.
Cool.
Awesome. So, tonight we are working on character creation. I think we have pretty good ideas of what it is each of us wants to play, but we will work on just ironing those out, getting our character sheets put together. So, let's see. I guess who wants to go first? Or Ryan, you pick somebody.
Well, since I've worked the most with Brian, I guess I'll have him go first. He seems to have a very good grasp on what he wants to play.
Okay. So what am I?
You know what you are.
What do I do?
Just describe the character. What's up?
All right. So my character is Kirk. He's a little Bogren bounty hunter, field mechanic. He's going to be the intellectual archetype. He's basically just going to be riding in on his steamjack and finding ways to mess the enemy up using not only his own body for takedowns, but also the environment around him.
Very, what's that word I'm looking for? Dependent on a certain feat that I'm sure everybody's going to have a lot of fun with.
Yeah.
Basically turns anybody into Batman.
I suppose I guess it would be
yeah, well,
so I guess it would be also pretty important to mention that Ryan and I have gone over a lot of the things with my character creation. My Steamjack has a modified harpoon gun that shoots bolas, so that's going to come into play a lot.
That's pretty boss. You really are Batman.
Yeah. So my character himself will just kind of be focusing on his rope use and takedowns.
Nice.
It's gonna be fun.
Should be.
Right. Another thing that I should mention about Brian, since his character has already been operating in the area for some time, I will further explain the machinations that make everybody come together. But for the most part, all the human as well as the trollkin, which is Matt, he will describe himself later, they all know each other. Brian, however, has run afoul of some Well, I guess you'll find out what he's run afoul of, but eventually it'll come into play here pretty quick. So in case you're wondering where he is in the party, that's he's off the scenes for the moment. All right, and for next, I suppose I could pick. Let's do Ulrich.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm Andrew. Hi. And I will be playing Dr. Ulrich von Dracus. He is a Calderon human who has graduated the top of his class as an esteemed alchemist. He later joined in the Thornwood Wars to bring down the Trollkin goblins that were causing mischief there. But mostly he was in sort of a MASH unit. He was a surgeon, a cutter. He would get his hands dirty and save lives. He gets a rush whenever he's dealing with someone at the edge of death, seeing if he can bring them back. Though that doesn't mean that he is beyond recreational activities, which is a kind way of saying throwing acid in people's faces when they have upset him. He wears your plague doctor attire. He has this gas mask with a sort of cybernetic nozzle that filters any and all toxins, and he is very fireproof and corrosive proof. And he is in these mines acting as the doctor. He can pretty much get a job anywhere, but he's retired from military work and has decided to follow the money, so to say. You know, man's got to make a living, and everyone needs a cutter.
Still mostly military work. It's just a little less.
Right. It's like a Coast Guard, rather. Yeah.
Coast Guard.
Yeah, it's fine.
And in that moment, the Coast Guard turned into bounty hunters.
Oh. I should have known conspiracy all along.
As of right now, the party is actually has just purchased a house in town. To operate from out of. It's a pretty decent house. They will eventually make their way to see what they have just purchased, and that's pretty much the story so far. So let's go ahead and shine that spotlight on Guy.
All right.
Michael.
Oh, I'm Michael. I will be playing Seraph, the human sniper. Now, what I boil down to is I'm going to be that jerk in the back, making sure all the big guys are dead before the guys in the front ever get up to them. Generally, I'm going to be carrying the big gun around, and that's really it.
That's pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward. I'm going to shoot them. They're going to be dead before they cause any problems to the party.
I know that's the plan anyway.
That's the plan. I'm probably going to shoot myself first.
Like the bullet just comes out of the chamber and like reverses.
Yeah, I'll pull the trigger. The gun, like the back part of the gun explodes. Bullet comes out towards me. I lose
if he was a gun mage, he actually might be able to accomplish that. Yeah, there's a.
Oh, there's my third job.
Well, I don't know. You can't pick up. Unfortunately, unless you're gifted, you can't pick it up. Yeah, since you're skilled, you're gonna have to stick with boring, non-magic ones.
Oh, bullets kill.
Yes, they do.
Wow.
All right, Matt.
Hey.
We know you are possibly still working on it. What do you got so far?
So I've decided on a Trollkin.
Right.
Because that sounds fun. And
are.
Feeling gifted is a good archetype to go into. Now, I had a question for you. I saw that there is a thing called a fell caller. Could you tell me more about that? Or have I stumped you? No, you're frozen. Uh-oh. Sorry, everyone watching. We'll be back in just a second.
Alright, yeah, that was annoying.
Sorry about that. We're back. Just a little Skype crash because Microsoft is incompetent. Anyway, as I was saying, I was kind of curious about the fell caller.
Fell caller. Alright, they are crazy. To be honest, I actually I'm not too terribly into, like, I don't know a whole lot about the fell caller, their origins or anything like that. I do know that they're typically tribal Turlkin from the Thornwood. However, it absolutely is not unheard of for them to leave and seek employment elsewhere, especially since the recent advent of the Thornwood Wars that have been going on. Many Trollkin have been displaced because of Kador's actions in that area. So, perhaps it definitely would not be a stretch to say that Fellcaller has found his way up north.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Well, I guess could you give me a better idea of what a Fellcaller does and how they work mechanically?
They're kind of like I mean, I guess the best way I could describe them, with my lack of knowledge of them in the first place, would be as kind of like military officers of Trollkin. They're a pretty specialized kind of group, especially since the fact that they do not have to be gifted in order to use their abilities.
Okay. Oh, okay. I just found their abilities here.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They've got a bunch of... They just scream at stuff, and and then everything just start falling apart. It's pretty great.
I like it.
They are the Dragonborn.
Actually, I was one of the first campaigns I was going to run. Never got around to it though. One of the players wanted to be a Fellcaller investigator, and I thought that would have been a very interesting interrogation process.
Just scream at people.
Have you seen this man? Why you look at me? Where were you on the night of the 12th?
Like Batman, what are they? Only instead of just yelling in the Joker's face, you would have completely shattered that bulletproof glass behind him.
Nice.
Swear to me.
So you got the Fellcaller idea. If you were gifted, the only other class that would be available to you is Sorcerer. If you stayed gifted, that is.
Okay. Or also Gun Mage, right?
I don't believe Trollkin can be gun mages. I've spread mixed things about that.
Well, I'm feeling Sorcerer anyway, so that's fine.
Can. You absolutely can have gun mage, alright? It's just you cannot be an arcane mechanic, arcanist, or warcaster. So
Yep.
Gun mage Fellcaller is absolutely within the realm of possibility for you.
Okay, I'm just looking at
That is very terrifying.
what a Fellcaller's abilities are and if they would help in a particular way.
especially if you went with the pistol gun mage.
Mm-hmm.
You would especially be terrifying as the as somebody with a gun that runs in, just kind of shoulders into stuff, and then shoots a big fireball out of it. It's crazy. Starts screaming. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. You know, someone he sends out his war jacket, you just punch it and scream. Like, but he has a gun. They won't even know what to do.
Okay, well, second question. Is there any sort of mechanic in this system that penalizes you for making ranged or spell attacks in melee?
Yes, there is. However, if you pick gunfighter, that goes away. That is
It's a -4.
yeah, it's an ability that you can get from gun mage. They anticipated that many gun mages will be, you know, kind of up close and personal shooting stuff like John Preston.
Is that a starting asset, or do you have to get that later?
He since you guys are starting off at 12, he can get it. It's not a starting one for being a gun mage, but he can pick it up right away.
Okay. So that's a possibility. Or I could do sorcerer.
Could do sorcerer as well.
And I'm
So
guessing
Chris
that's it's just sort of a standard I cast fireball kind of sorcerer.
Yeah, it's pretty the sorcerer, it's they work a little bit like sorcerers do in D&D. Except that when you choose a sorcerer in Iron Kingdoms, you kind of pick the element that you want to be associated with, and you kind of have to stick to that element. You don't get to like jump around too much.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, okay. I know what I'm gonna do. I want to be a Fellcaller Stone Sorcerer.
Works for me.
I like it.
You're about halfway. You were halfway between where I wanted you to go with that one. Just break everything by being a stone sorcerer pugilist.
Yeah.
I get the feeling I should have gotten more healing potions.
I don't think those exist.
No, there's the liniments that would store like vitality points when you like rest and shit. Like you like rub it on your skin.
Oh right. It's just a little bit of an extra healing when you As much as I know this, there's still plenty of it that I don't know. And this is I've only run one other campaign in Iron Kingdoms. It was very brief. It only lasted, I think, 2 sessions before everybody kind of meandered off in their own directions.
The alchemy feels like Skyrim alchemy. Like it's just a bunch of ingredients and you just kind of just put them together and mix it up.
You gotta.
Don't know what it does? Eat it.
Of course, you gotta eat all of it.
All right, ectoplasm. All right, let's just put that right in.
I have terrible jokes about ectoplasm, but are probably not PG-13 rated. Anyway, move along.
Did you catch? I got it in chat. But do you have the additional bonuses you'll be getting for starting off at 12 experience, Matt?
I have no idea what I'm supposed to be putting on my character sheet, so please explain it to me.
Okay. Well,
I imagine I start with the base stats for Trollkin, right?
yes. You
Okay.
start off with those, and then you get 3 points to distribute into whichever abilities you want.
Okay. So let's see here. Trollkin.
Let's backtrack a second there.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that we understand what's going on. He said abilities. He means stats.
Stats, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
I apologize.
3 points to add to any stat, primary or secondary, because that was a question that popped up that I guess Ryan hadn't seen.
Yeah.
You also get 1 additional stat point for having experience. I believe you get an 8. If that matters, I don't think it does.
It's in the chat actually.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I put it. You get 4 occupational skills, 2 spells, abilities, 1 archetype, and 1 stat. That's a little bit in the future. One thing that I have to point out that's really important for gifted characters, you have to pick between one of 2 different disciplines for gifted characters. You have will weavers, and then you have focusers. As far as I know, you're gonna want to be a will weaver for being a sorcerer.
Okay.
Because focuser just doesn't really have as much of a. It doesn't have as much versatility, but you have to be a focuser to be a warcaster.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Okay, so I'll be a will weaver, which gives me 3 arcane.
Yes. You probably want to drop one of your stat points into that because holy crap. You're gonna have to hit people with spells. You have to roll 2d6 plus your arcane stat, which means that your spells do not hit as readily as other military skills do. So it's definitely very worth it to pick. Once character makes magic ability. Yeah. Combat caster is definitely a very important one to pick up.
Okay.
Because then that basically means that instead of only rolling 2d6, you get to roll 3d6 and then drop the lowest one.
Nice.
Very handy.
Okay, so.
Then other than that, you get to pick whichever additional gifted archetype as you might want.
Okay, cool. So, start with my base stats, and then I get to add 3 points to things?
4, since you're starting at 12.
4 points. Okay, so you said 1 to arcane.
1 to arcane, and then that's really the most I have to give you.
When you're human, you only get 1 physical, 1 intellect, and 1 ability. You choose one, right?
Yeah, you choose between physique, agility, or intellect. And then have the additional 3 from start, and then another one from having leveled up, which means that if you are human, you have 5 points total to distribute.
Okay.
I'll go over everybody's sheets once everybody's done, and then I'll make sure everybody's got it all right.
Okay, I'm just trying to go through this step by step in creating this character. And so the 3 points can go into any of the primary or secondary stats, right?
Any of them whatsoever.
Okay.
All 4 points.
I should point out though, there's the hero limit, and you cannot go above that.
Yes, so that would go on the sheet as the maximum, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The only question I have to ask about that: do you plan on doing more shooting or more stabbing and punching?
Well, I don't know.
Well, I'm just like the reason I ask is because your character, or Trollkins in general, they are generally better at hitting things with things.
Hitting things with the things.
Yes, with other things.
Yes.
Which is actually verbatim something you can do with Mighty. You can pick up things, anything,
and just hit other people,
whatever.
Okay, so
other stuff.
As a stone sorcerer, am I more inclined to have melee abilities or ranged abilities?
I think there is actually one where you punch people with a stone fist.
I like that. Let's go with that one.
Okay.
I mean, I could just be blowing smoke out my ass here, because I'm just speaking from memory.
Ryan.
Yes.
If you would like, I can assist Matt with his character creation for the moment while you look at whatever character sheets are finished, if you want to try to get this to move on a little bit more smoothly.
Maybe. Matt.
Yes.
You can get a full list of the spells you have on page 236.
236. Fantastic.
Yes. A quick note about the cost part.
Mm-hmm.
The way the magic works in this game, it's very action oriented. You can expend up to 4. You can expend up to 4. I guess whatever they're called, mana points or whatever. And in one single round, without having to suffer any negative effects. You regenerate your arcane stat in points a turn. So basically, if you're not rolling 4, you're kind of wasting energy a little bit there.
Okay.
If you go above 4, though, you have to roll for fatigue. And if you fatigue yourself, you cannot cast spells next turn. So it's something to keep in mind. Especially since, but there are absolutely no restrictions on what spells you can pick up within your own spell list.
Okay.
So like if it's not like D&D where if you want like a 9th level spell, you gotta wait till you're level 15. If you wanted to pick up a level 4 or a 4 cost spell right now, totally available to you. All right, but other than that, just go ahead and throw questions at me if Brian doesn't know what's up.
Sure.
And I'll look over everybody else's stats.
My sheet is complete.
You think so, huh? I'm gonna put it to the
I do
grinder.
think so.
I've already
Go
found
ahead.
something I had done.
I'm gonna meat grind this thing into meat. Smaller meat.
Pray my thing's done.
Further digestible meat. You won't even
Make sure there's
recognize
a little rat in there.
a little bit. A lot of it. So much rat, you won't even know what parts of the meat.
I'm pretty sure rats produce meat as well, but I mean,
They produce meat like milk. Alright, so we get 4, 4, 4, 6, 5, 4, 3, 4. It's 4, 4, 1. 6, strength 4, plus 5.3.
I got a good question
Awesome. Yes.
about the different rankings. So we have 12 experience. We've
Yeah.
been around the block, but like, what is our clout, if you will, in Cataron and the city that we're
It's
in? Like,
it's
how
it's
influential?
Kador, by the way.
Kador, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. This is gonna drive me nuts if you kept doing that. As far as the clout, I would say none. Right now, you guys are pretty. Since conscription is in Kador, the fact that you guys are ex-soldiers does not have any weight whatsoever. Anybody you run into in Kador is going to be an ex-soldier. In some regard.
It's like going to elementary school
I suppose.
with guns.
Where everybody
Well-
says that their dad is in the Navy.
Sure. I mean, that's only
Elementary school,
strictly
okay.
true for male characters. If you're a female, it's not required that you're conscripted in Kador.
Yeah, but a lot of
really?
them choose to.
So do like all the Kadorian men like try to show off how manly they are with their battle scars?
I wouldn't say. They're pretty masculine, just as a rule. It's very it's
True
very
enough.
very Soviet bloc Russia in Kador.
This has got to be the
Soviet
best thing to
bloc
happen to
Russia.
ever.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a mixture of Soviet and Tsarist Russia. It's kind of turn of the century. It's pretty much the same. So yeah, you're gonna see a lot of pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, especially if there's Soviet Russia.
Yeah, just to give you, I know I've told two of you, the other two, just to give you kind of an idea. I came up with the idea for this whole campaign while I was watching Wild Wild West.
All right, I can dig it. No, man, I just got done watching I was doing a rewatch of Cowboy Bebop and a little bit of Firefly, so I'm ready. My body is ready.
Nice.
It's so ready. Just glorious, glorious sci-fi.
Lots of terrible Russian accents, lots of snow and cowboys.